This is Corey McCarthy, and welcome to a new episode of Fit, Formidable, and Fantastic. That's right. Go F yourself, and happy Friday. Now, in this episode, I want to address real research-supported adjustments that you can make to your diet and lifestyle that can help you optimize your natural testosterone production. Now, I will not, however, be covering gimmicky supplement blends from your local retailer that are just designed to drain your wallet that may or may not work and suffer from mixed results in research. So, if you're expecting a video reviewing, I don't know, Tribulus, D-aspartic acid, fenugreek, or some other similar supplement or proprietary blend of supplements, this is not the video for you. Again, I will be covering dietary and lifestyle changes. I'm also not claiming any miracles by following my advice in this video. For instance, if you fall into the unfortunate category of someone who is suffering from low testosterone, then you should seek out the guidance of a qualified medical practitioner and potentially consider testosterone replacement therapy. Now, that being said, these tips can still benefit anyone's overall health and well-being. So why don't we get started? Number one, the first tip I'm going to throw out there: lift heavy shit often and intensely. Lifting weights can positively influence your hormone levels. Granted, the effects do appear to be transient, but research shows that you can get a sustained boost in the testosterone, for instance, for up to 30 minutes post-exercise for moves like the squat in a rep range of 6 to 10. So a standard bodybuilding hypertrophy rep range. Now, transient as that might be after one session, the more you lift, the more you're going to spike your T levels. With, of course, like I emphasize, a focus on compound movements, intensity, in a fairly heavy rep range. And yes, that means that, you should be doing things like the squat. That means training your legs, for those of you out there who do not train your legs. Now, moving forward, pardon me, perform HIIT cardio. You might be thinking, what? Well, one study actually demonstrated that HIIT cardio performed with 90-second running and 90-second recovery cycles led to an overall increase in testosterone levels compared to the steady state group that they did a study against. So consider getting your cardio HIIT style, which can help you also burn fat, which leads me to my next tip, and that is to lose fat, especially abdominal fat. Now, research has shown that higher levels of abdominal fat are actually linked with lower levels of testosterone and increases in estrogen. So the next tip will be to control and lower stress. Research shows that higher levels of a stress hormone, cortisol, can actually inhibit testosterone production in men and even adversely affect fertility in men and women. Get more sleep is the next tip. Research demonstrates that the better quality of sleep you get, the higher your testosterone levels will be. Men who get the most sleep had a 40 to 43% higher testosterone level than men who got the least amount of sleep. The next one's probably going to come as no shock and also probably going to give a bunch of you a smile. Have more sex during your lifetime. In one study done in a large sample size of elderly men and women, those men who had more sexual partners over a lifetime also had a sizable and favorable difference in testosterone levels. Women were also shown to benefit from higher amounts of sex partners, but not quite as powerfully as the men in the study. Furthermore, I'm not sure if this applies to homosexuality, as this study was exclusively done on heterosexuals, though I doubt that makes any difference whatsoever. I mean, sex is sex, right? So, but for the sake of accuracy, I'm just noting this, that the study was only done on heterosexual men and women. Now, I am by no means suggesting promiscuity here. I know the study mentioned having a large amount of sex partners being pluralized there. I am by no means suggesting promiscuity, and I'm certainly not promoting unsafe sex practices, especially in this day and age with all the STDs out there. but having more sex during the course of your life could clearly benefit your hormone levels. And I don't think any of you are going to be arguing about that one. Next tip, consider intermittent fasting. Not only can fasting boost growth hormone by a staggering 2,000% above baseline. Let me repeat that. Boost growth hormone by a staggering 2,000. That's 2,000% above baseline, and effectively burn body fat by the 12-hour mark. And remember what I previously said about losing fat and testosterone levels? Keep that in mind here. But also, short-term fasting bumps up luteinizing hormone, that's LH, by 67% and testosterone levels by 180%, according to research. That is very significant. And I will put a link to the Lean Gains program, which is a dietary protocol, in the video description below for those who are interested in looking into a method of IF that I have actually used myself. Of course, if some of you, my viewers, I know are vegan, the Lean Gains website does not specifically give vegan options, but you can veganize Lean Gains. I do. Next tip, don't fear dietary fat. Now, don't take this advice as to go overboard, since fat is calorically dense, but definitely ensure that you're getting at least 20% of your maintenance calories from quality fat sources each day. That's a minimum right there. That comes to about 0.34 grams per pound of body weight minimum per day, and that's for men and women. Research demonstrates that significant drops in male and female sex hormones occur in diets that go below this amount of fat intake. In fact, one study demonstrated that diets higher in fat were correlated with higher resting testosterone levels, specifically saturated fats. Now, the next tip, lower your sugar intake. Eating too much fructose and glucose can actually shut off the gene that regulates testosterone and estrogen in the body, thus disturbing the balance of the hormones. A single serving of 75 grams of oral glucose was shown to suppress testosterone levels by up to 120 minutes post-consumption. That is a long fucking time. Now, granted, that was straight glucose, and that's very different than eating a serving of fruit, for instance, that contains components such as fiber, which can actually slow the absorption of the sugar and control your blood sugar levels. But that being said, it is clearly not advised to go overboard in sugars, especially things like candies or isolated sources like, sugar or dextrose powder, that kind of thing. And even fiber can only assist so much. So don't think it's going to be your miracle cure-all. Those of you out there who want to just overload on fruit, especially fruitarians, I just want to put that out there because you could be very well hindering your hormone production. Next tip, avoid alcohol. Now, alcohol use is associated with low testosterone levels. I've done an entire video on this before, as well as other ill effects of alcohol on athletic performance and sexual function, and I will put that link to that video, that past video, in the description field below, along with that Lean Gains link I mentioned earlier, as some suggested links. The takeaway here, because I'm not going to reiterate everything I went on in that last video, which was very comprehensive, the takeaway is, if your hormones are important to you, specifically testosterone in the case of this video here, as well as your performance in the bedroom and whatever athletic field you pursue, I would suggest you avoid alcohol. Just saying. Your choice, though. Your body, your performance, your hormones, not mine. I'm just giving you the advice. I say that because there's people, who ask me about weight loss and all that, ask for advice and tips about being healthy, and I tell them to avoid alcohol, or at least limit it very much so, like maybe to a glass of wine once or twice a month. And they give me this strange look, but hey, whatever. I don't care. I'm just giving you advice, and I base my advice on research, not just anecdote. And you can take it or leave it. Like I said, your body, your hormones, your health, not mine in the end. Next is get dietary calcium. In one study, active athletes who were administered 35 milligrams of calcium per kilogram of body weight had higher levels of free testosterone than non-active participants who just took calcium, as well as the active athlete participants who trained but did not supplement the calcium. In conclusion, if you're active, ensure you're getting ample dietary calcium. Now, to give you an example of what that 35 milligrams per kilogram of body weight would come to, for an 170-pound active male, that would be approximately 2,700 milligrams of calcium per day to accurately follow this study's dosings. Next tip, supplement vitamin D or get plenty of sun. In one placebo-controlled study from 2011, on 54 men, spanning the course of 12 months, those who supplemented vitamin D3 at a dose of 3,333 IU per day demonstrated an increase in testosterone levels. Now, that being said, the men in the study were initially deficient in vitamin D, so more research is needed to determine whether this was merely due to their initial D deficiency or not. Nonetheless, the supplementation of D is definitely advisable, especially for people who clearly cannot or do not get enough sun exposure. Me, for instance, being that I'm Irish, of course, and pale as all fuck, and also that I live in New York City, which is constantly overcast, it's definitely advisable for someone like me especially, to be getting a vitamin D supplement to ensure that I'm not lacking from less sun exposure than somebody, for instance, living maybe in California or Australia or somewhere like that. Next tip, ensure you're getting adequate zinc intake. Now, like with vitamin D, if you are deficient in zinc, you might be deficient in testosterone, or at risk of that at least. If you are not getting adequate zinc supply from diet, you might want to consider supplementing with a good daily zinc supplement such as a ZMA. Research has demonstrated that zinc supplementation in marginally deficient men, now I'm just putting it out there, marginally deficient, not severely deficient, but just marginally deficient men for a period of 6 months led to a nearly 52% increase in serum testosterone levels. Conversely, when zinc was restricted for 20 weeks, this led to a nearly 26% decrease in serum testosterone levels. Do you see what I'm getting at there? If you restrict yourself from zinc or you're deficient in zinc, you're going to have a decrease in testosterone levels. But if you are deficient and you supplement or get enough zinc from your diet, you will experience an increase in serum testosterone. Now again, that is on people who are at risk or are in a deficiency, but it doesn't hurt to take zinc anyway. It's definitely a very vital mineral in for your health and in your diet. Anyway, those are some tips that you can utilize that are changes in diet, that are changes in your lifestyle. Yes, some of those are supplements, but they're not gimmicky. They're things that are for good health, proper health, that can help you optimize your testosterone levels and therefore your performance, your well-being, your mental well-being, your physique, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, I have nothing else really to add. Those were all the tips I had to give you. I hope that some of these can be helpful to you. Perhaps you know about some, perhaps you know about none of them, or maybe some of them are new to you. You never considered them. If you have anything you want to add to this, or anything you want to ask or whatever, please do drop it in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on Monday for a regularly scheduled episode. Until then, stay fit, stay formidable, and stay fantastic. I will see you around.